Hello, my creative friends. I am going to share with you this altered book flip through today. I took a class on altered books on Creativebug, which I love, and Courtney and Faith were such great teachers. We had such a good time with this class, and it's not too late. You can take the class too if you want. I'll include more info below. But for now, let's get to it. So I used this vintage library book, which has a cool embossed illustration on the cover. Um, it's called Drawings to Live With, and that kind of became the theme of the altered book for me. Inside, I have used a bunch of my old illustrations, like this one of Frida Kahlo, and in this case, I used what was already there, the library book cards and pocket. I did add a little bit of stickers and collage there, but for the most part I let that first page be itself. This title page I just did some collaging on. On the left hand side here we learned to make a pocket in our altered books, and I used my pocket for an old illustration that I did of a lady. Did some collaging there too. On this side, I left the hand a little loose, so it would be fun. I liked that element. Over here, we've got some ladies just talking about their appliances, I'm pretty sure, but you can still see them on the next page because of the cutout. That was another one of the lessons. As well as this blackout poem. I have several in here, and I have all the poems written out on my blog post if you want to go check that out. I'll link it below as well. And this is just a page where I just collaged and painted, and there's a lot of like little hidden gems because it's pretty monochromatic. It's mostly black and white. I have a little bit of a peachy pink paint in there and some gray. But yeah, there's a lot to be seen. You just sort of have to hunt for it. Where's Waldo style. There was a lesson where you just had to work with what was on the page, essentially. No collaging, no cutting. And so this was super fun for that. Yeah, same on the left there, but on the right I do incorporate some collage. It's just sort of subtle. Again, more subtle collaging on the left. I just added a few basic elements, but I think it's pretty funny. And on the right there too, just a little image transfer. Now on this page, I think it's so funny because everyone is looking at something else. Like no one is looking at each other. Everyone's looking at a different direction. I don't know why I found that humorous, but I really did. Okay, on this next page, I have a little humor. That lady's face just looks like she's saying like WTF. The Draw the Kitten reminds me of those ads that you saw when we were kids. That one's older than I am, but anyway, I made this painting of this woman a long time ago, and I never really loved her, but then I saw this other like simple drawing in here, and I was like, they're kind of the same. This one you read backwards, he's like, treat yourself, and she's like, definitely not. This is just a little color study that we did with Courtney. I just blacked out all the text and other information on this page and left the image that was there. This is a collage that I did where this little girl is just like staring straight up at this monster panther thing. I'm not sure what it is. And on this one I have a couple of horses, and then this collaged man, he's putting something down, but his head is cut out. Just his head. So I was like, alright, we'll let the horse see through his head. And what a surprise! It's a rainbow arc bridge thing. This is super fun. I used vintage papers for mine, so I'm not sure if it turned out how it's supposed to, but I still really liked it. Here's another one of my older illustrations that I printed on another book page along with the little lady there in the corner. And this is a box that we made. Again, I used paper. It wasn't perfectly square, so it's not perfectly, cut, but whatever. It's still cute. Another blackout poem. Again, you can read all the poetry over on my blog post about this flip through. On this next page, I used another one of my little watercolor paintings, sort of studies, along with this guy. Of course, I had to make him match a bit. And look at this. Whee! Fun! We did a wheel in one of Faith's classes, and I just love it. I want to do more movement magic in my future altered books. This one I just left plain, and then on the side I use this I heart and Flannery O'Connor. That's a little illustration that I made of her years ago in art school, I think, or maybe after, I'm not sure. This guy's like, seriously? Because why? Oh, this guy's just catching some air off some giant ravioli. I mean, why not? We could probably surf off some giant ravioli, can't we? Here's another sort of a different version of a blackout poem, only in this case I used white and some circles, just a little take on it, and then a collage there on the left side. On the left here, I collaged in an old science illustration that I had added a wash to. On the side, we were supposed to use vellum. I didn't have vellum, so I just used parchment paper, and hey, it worked. I didn't give a hair about this one, just joking. I just folded that page. But then on this page, wow, that's some color. So we've got this sort of weird looking creature and this bird. I like the way the bird's foot lines up with the little rabbit's foot on the other page. And she's touching the globe and sending something out into space. And this lady's like, oh my gosh, I'm scared. What is she sending into space? But this little cheeky fellow, I don't know what is going on with his face. And neither does his little partner there. She's like, what in the heck? Back off, dude. So I saw this sort of weird illustration of it's a cool illustration of a weird little animal, and it reminded me of this little weird animal that I painted, I don't know, probably 5 years ago or something, so I decided to put them on pages together. This is my dog page. It's fun. Of course, some of the drawings were there originally. I added some collage effects there, the little pug at her first communion. I used that for another project years ago. And then this little dog has a bird on his head. Like, why? I don't know. But, it's cute. This guy got his own page and I just added some, marks and things. This queen has been in this book for 60, 80 years or something in black and white. So I decided to add some color to her. I added color to the other page. I put this little collage there. It says, looking sorrowful, Strange's fourth wife, Sarah, holds son, James, in a portrait. Well, yeah, weird. I don't know. Anyway, this lady thinks this bouquet is pretty stinky. I don't know. I bet it smelled pretty good, but whatever, to each their own. On the right here was the very first project I did for this class, and it was a little cutout of the ship, but you get to see, birds. But wait, there's more. Colorful birds. They were all black and white, and I colored them in, and I thought, why not make them crazy colors? An old collage I put in there with some little picture tabs so I can take it out. This is an old portrait that I made years ago, and it's kind of a blurry print, but I didn't want to throw it away, so I just threw it in here instead. These are sort of color study collages. From the left side is from an old science book. And this is one of my favorite spreads because it goes over 2 pages. Like, these people on the left are like frightened and wondering what's going on. The lady behind him is from a different illustration and she can't even look. She's covering her eyes. And why? Because this little girl is pouring out eyeballs. What? That's just crazy. Who would pour out eyeballs? Even the horrible monster is looking at her like, are you crazy? On this page I collaged this bird, and Alice in Wonderland is like, oh my gosh, that bird is terrifying. In the middle here I saved a page from it was a vintage piano book, and I just loved that it had like the little gold star and the score there that the child got. And this is one of my old illustrations that I printed on a periodic table. Just a guy in a hat smoking a cigarette. Right here we have this cool ship illustration or drawing, and I almost just left it as is, but then I found this other colorful ship and it kind of just sort of fit right there in the sail, so I collaged it on top. I think it looks cool. So this page is called The Muses, and there is some nudity here, which that's sort of socially acceptable nudity, or at least in the art world. Now, under my little tag here, uh-oh, a little more nudity. So why is one okay and one's not? I'm not sure, but whatever. I also have this image transfer / peek through, but because of the image transfer, it's really hard to see what's going on the other side, plus it's so tiny. But as you will see, it's this lady here. And then this little dragon guy I colored in just for fun. It was like an adult coloring book experience for me. Another old portrait that I drew that I just didn't want to throw away from, I think it says 2013. There's some very, very tall people in this forest. They've got some long legs. Oh, and this one opens, and that's just an original illustration from the book, and I did some collage in there, but there's some weird little creatures going on. But this guy, he doesn't care. He's over the moon about it. He'll just jump as high as he can. With some additional collage pieces. This girl, I just loved her expression. It was all in black and white, but I colored her little outfit pink. And in the description it says, what she has on is a sundress. And it's like, okay, well, is it, first of all, but also, why do you have to say that? Anyway, I just thought it was funny. Wow, look at that. It's like I forget what they called it, but he's impressed by it. That's the guy I just cut out from a magazine, and I put him on top of an old, it was just a piece of paper that I used for printmaking. But yeah, I used vintage paper for this little pop-out thing, and it's already starting to crack. But you know, whatever, that's part of its charm. And I think it was fun. I just put some saddles on that page, and then just some bluish images, some of my own illustrations, and some other washi tape, collage elements, etc. Now when I made this one on the left, I thought it would look more surreal, like, oh wow, there's plants growing from the top, but there's not. And then on the right there's that little piece of tape that was, or two pieces of tape that were in there originally. I just left those. I don't know, there was something so cool about this woman's hair. It's just like, I don't know. I just was fascinated by it. So she made it into the book. And then this is probably the most serious part of the whole entire book. We were supposed to do, the lesson was to redact some sort of information, and I was just thinking about how women artists have really been redacted from art history in a lot of ways. Fortunately, there are people who are now trying to correct that, but like even in this book from the 1960s, there are very few women artists. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Of course, there are several pieces that were from unknown artists, and a lot of those now we know were actually women artists that just were never credited properly. And then again on this back page, I used a print of an illustration I did in 2009. I just printed it on the table of contents from another vintage book. And then on the right here is a little collage. I love how this little elephant just looks like he fits so perfectly on their front yard, but that is collaged on there. And this little couple is so happy, but what is going on here? What is this? Vegetables? Huh? What? Banana? Oh my goodness. So that was another lesson in making pockets, and I just made this little cutout to put inside my pocket because I thought it was funny. So there you have it, my altered book flip through. This is the second one that I've made from start to finish, and it was really super fun. I'm going to do more. Please do feel free to follow me at Joyful Art Journaling on Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook, and .com on the internet. And yeah, this lady's like, hey, yeah, check her out. She's really cool. You should follow her. She has fun stuff. Okay, thanks friends. See you next time.